Washington Democratic Congressman and Chairman and Ranking Democrat of the House Armed Services Committee, Adam Smith, joins me now. Congressman, good to see you. You heard, I believe, my intro about what's going on off the coast of Venezuela, Colombia, and now in the Pacific. What's your reaction? What do you believe you need to know that you haven't learned so far?
Well, there's been a complete lack of transparency on exactly what we're doing and why, and who exactly we're targeting. As you mentioned, the main focus of the rhetoric that we hear coming out of the White House is fentanyl, fentanyl, fentanyl. And yet the people they're attacking, as you said quite well, are not involved at all in the fentanyl trade. If the United States military is going to use lethal force, basically, no trial, we're just going to fire the shots and kill people, you need to be 100% clear on why, what you're doing, and what it's supposed to be accomplishing. There is no clarity on that coming from the White House. So they've mentioned fentanyl. Occasionally they will hint, as you said, at regime change. But is that the reason or isn't it? We can't have the United States military using lethal force, killing dozens of people, and not even be clear why or what it is that it's supposed to accomplish. That is bad policy, and also it is arguably illegal and against the U.S. Constitution.
What about what happened recently with the Admiral of Southern Command, who announced his retirement 2 years before his term as Admiral of Southern Command was due to end?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear that Admiral Halsey had problems with the orders that he was being asked to carry out. I don't know of a precedent for a combatant commander leaving their post 2 years early, certainly not in the midst of this level of controversy. So I think, we often have this discussion, and given President Trump's authoritarian tendencies in terms of how he views the presidency, there's considerable concern within the military. What do you do if you are asked to carry out an illegal order? Well, first of all, you have to determine whether or not the order is illegal. But if you believe it is illegal, your obligation is to not carry it out. And I think it's distinctly possible that is why Admiral Halsey is retiring early. We don't know for sure. There have been rumors, but certainly the circumstances give rise to the question, and I think it ought to be answered.
What do you think about the Defense Secretary's contention that these vessels being struck by the U.S. military are as much of a threat to America as al-Qaeda?
I think that's positively idiotic, and it scares the hell out of me to think that we've got a Secretary of Defense who is that clueless about the threats that we face. Al-Qaeda, came and targeted the United States of America and killed 3,000 people intentionally, on purpose, with a stated desire to basically destroy the United States of America and to kill Americans anywhere that they could. The drug trade, as you rightly point out, is a scourge upon America, but it's not a group of people trying to kill Americans or destabilizing the government. It's a business we should shut down, but to equate that with an armed group that is bent on the absolute destruction of America, I mean, that's a level of thinking that should be troubling to anybody in terms of how we're approaching this. And I also, on the drug trade, again, fentanyl is what's killing people, and we're not targeting fentanyl, number one. Number two, with the drug trade, it is as much of a demand problem as it is a supply problem. We have been shutting down drug trade for decades, and yet people keep finding a way because the demand is so high. We need to focus on that aspect of the problem. Equating this to a shooting war, I think, is a clueless approach to how to deal with the very real problem of drugs that we have in this country.
Congressman, let's talk about the shutdown. I want to play sound for you from today from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Let's play it.
Here's the kicker. The Democrats can't even agree on what they want right now. If you polled congressional Democrats on what it would take to reopen the government, you would not get a uniform answer.
Your response?
Yeah, well, so what is my response. Look, we're a big coalition. We are not part of a cult. We do not simply salute one leader, and if he says one thing one day and the exact opposite the next, we go ahead and agree with it. The point is, negotiate with our leadership. Mike Johnson has been saying things like that. Meanwhile, he shut down the House. The House is not in session. That is unprecedented. I've been through a number of government shutdowns. Every single one, House was in session trying to solve the problem. Number two, if Mike Johnson wants to know what Democrats want, negotiate. Let's talk. And I can tell you at the top of that list is health care. And that has been very, very clear. As of November 1st, people will have to start make their selections. Without an extension of the health care tax credits for the ACA, millions of people will lose their health insurance. Millions of more will see their costs skyrocket. And Mike Johnson's response was, well, we're just going to extend the government until November 21st, which is too late. Not going to deal with it. But more than anything, he should be negotiating. He wants Democratic votes. He needs Democratic votes in the Senate. And his answer is, no, Democrats just have to vote for what we say. They have to vote for the Republican budget, and we won't even talk to them. We won't even negotiate. And then to demand that? So whether or not you can poll, how many ever Democrats there are in the country and get a slightly different answer, for the Speaker of the House to be acting like that is a relevant fact in this debate is ridiculous. We have our leadership. Negotiate with them. He has refused to do that since mid-September, and he's refused to even have the United States House in session doing its job. There are other things that we could be doing that are important to this country, but Mike Johnson has shut down the United States Congress, and that simply enhances the power of President Trump, and I have to believe that's a big part of the reason of why he's doing it. He's abdicating the responsibility of the legislative branch, abdicating his responsibility as Speaker of the House. There was a member of Congress who said he wanted Donald Trump to be Speaker of the House. He's gotten his wish. That's effectively what's happening here. Congress should exist, and we should do our job, and Mike Johnson has abdicated that responsibility.
Absent a willingness from the Republican leadership in the Senate to negotiate, how does this end, Congressman Smith?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, there's a couple of different possibilities. We have heard that the White House does understand the problem with health care. Thus far, they haven't taken the step to want to do anything about it. But hopefully, as we've shown a light on this particular problem, that gets people to pay more attention to it. And it may well end with Democrats saying, look, as we get to November 1st, our opportunity to address this health care crisis has kind of passed. The Republicans have shown they don't care. They don't care about people losing their health insurance. They don't care about the health costs going up. So maybe we need to come into some other type of an agreement. That is possible. But it is absolutely crucial that Democrats did what we did on October 1st and didn't just sign up for a budget that was going to continue the Trump budget, continue the Trump government, and do nothing to address the health care crisis, which was coming at us in a matter of weeks. So it is possible that we shift tactics in terms of how to get their attention, but the issue is incredibly important. It is just really, really unfortunate that the Republicans don't seem to want to address it or deal with it in any manner.
Washington Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Major.